So this is my 97 Toyota 4Runner, and it's got a crazy whistling noise, like the most insane noise ever. I'll put the video clip on it right now, and it only happens when it's hot. So whenever you're diagnosing some of these weird ass problems or diagnosing anything, what you want to do is get in here and just like touch things and like wiggle the crap out of things. Like, you know, don't just stand back as a passive observer. So while this thing is whistling like the most insane noise I ever heard, I grabbed the intake manifold and like pulled on it and the whistle went away. So I'm assuming it's some kind of weird vacuum leak. So these old Toyotas are always going to have weird little vacuum leaks. So what you got to do is go in there with the scan tool and look at the long-term, short-term fuel trims and see if the engine is adding fuel to the system. Plus or minus 10 is completely acceptable on a 27-year-old car. A newer car should be a little bit less. So interestingly, the fuel trims are pretty low on this. But regardless, I'm pretty sure there's a pretty heinous vacuum leak with these super hard old rubber problems. So the number one tool to find vacuum leaks is right here. So this is a smoke machine. It's the cheapest one available on Amazon. I made a whole video on it. It's kind of, you get what you pay for here. It's a little bit intense because we're going to need air compressor, and then you got to buy another tool, a little thing to clog this. So let's do a smoke test and try to find some vacuum leaks on an old Toyota for problem number one. So the goal is to put some kind of block off plate right here, and then we'll pump smoke in somewhere else. So we're gonna take this air box off. So whenever we have air coming into the system, after the mass airflow is when it can cause computer problems and basically make the car run really rich. So this is 27-year-old everything, so we need to be a little bit careful with it. When I wiggle this, you want to support anything you're pulling on so it doesn't tear. So this tool is another one off Amazon, same company that makes the smoke machine. Nice and snug. So we got the smoke machine hooked up to here, but we need to add some air pressure into here to pressurize. I think I'll do that. But if you do plug it in here, we need to open the throttle blade to make sure the smoke can go in. And I am going to do that. We're going to heat up the element. You need to be aware that when you do this smoke test, it's super stinky. This stuff is incredible. It's burning baby oil. So I think what I'm going to do is, okay, so it's starting to smoke. So we're trying to put as much of the smoke as possible into the intake manifold as to not have it stink up the entire garage or your workspace. And I'm going to turn this on. There's special oil for the smoke machine, but I have seen people use baby fluid. This is mountain bike mineral hydraulic fluid, which is very similar to baby oil. This is a pretty expensive fluid to be using. Probably just go to the store and get some baby oil. We found the fucking leak. Jesus Christ. Well, that's probably the whistle. Alright, we can turn this off. Okay, so we're going to take this intake off. It would have been pretty hard to spray brake cleaner because it's leaking out of the bottom of this air silencer. And I have to be super careful with this intake charge pipe. Okay, so vacuum leak number one. Looks like heat from the exhaust. So here's the barnyard fix for this. We got an oil cap. Oh, fuck. So this box is close to the exhaust manifold and it should not melt like the plastic. So now we're resealed back up. So this, I mean, this one's pretty obvious. It's leaking. Okay, so we got 2 more repairs. We're gonna try to cinch that one down. And I'm gonna try to replace that line, that cracked hose right there. And let's turn this off. So re-repair this little block off. Okay, so we got a little bit of tape on there to tighten it up. So basically every piece of rubber after 27 years is worn out. So I have a huge box of hoses from the restoration on this thing. So this hose is part of the idle air control system. And I'm actually going to remove the throttle. Here's the problem hose right here. Broken side, unbroken side on the other side. I replaced the cam sensor, which was a nightmare. Then the wiring harness broke, which was a nightmare. So now we're replacing this vacuum line with some silicone line because getting pre-bent hoses from the dealership is ridiculous. So I discovered if you melt these, put a little bit of lube on them, you can stretch them over. So there's a vacuum line. Wouldn't be trusting this with an oil line. So here we are, and it's the moment of truth. Basically, almost every single vacuum line in this entire engine bay has been replaced. This one, that's the main one that was leaking, and then I just put this one on. So we're gonna fire it up, heat up the coils, get the compressed air out, and get it ready. All right, so it's pretty solid. Those silicone vacuum lines, I can't tell you how long they're gonna last, but they definitely do seal things up, and they don't require that fancy bending stuff that comes with those expensive dealership. Oh, there's a leak. All right, we have a leak. So this is like one of the craziest vacuum leaks I've ever seen. It is leaking out of the timing cover. I wonder if you guys can see this. It's like fully leaking out of the timing cover, which is a fucking massive bummer. After spending about 4 hours, I took it for a test drive, and it makes the same exact noise it has been making for a month. So a couple days later, fortunately, the noise is happening all the time now, which makes diagnosing it quite a bit easier. And I'm wondering, is it these silicone vacuum lines making the whistle noise? I don't know. So hours and hours of diagnosing later with the smoke machine and everything else, I can't find any leaks inside the intake manifold. But if I pull on the intake manifold, the noise goes away. So I'm wondering if this piece, which is a Dorman add-in piece, is somehow leaking air around the side, because when I move it, the noise kind of goes away. But in the meantime, I did replace part of the intake baffle system that I put an oil cap in. The oil cap thing is not a good idea. It actually almost fell out and would have caused a massive vacuum leak and make the engine not run. But don't use the oil cap method, but it's getting increasingly difficult to find parts for your old 4Runner. Got that installed, and I'm just lost on what to do here. No leaks via the smoke machine, so I got the stethoscope out, and I'm trying to listen around the intake manifold. I just don't want to like shotgun new gaskets on this intake manifold. We got to really properly diagnose this. Unfortunately, the stethoscope is not a good way to find a squeaky whistle noise. By moving the intake charge pipe around, the whistle is kind of changing, so I'm pretty set on the charge pipe having some type of issue. So I'm like, well, I could get like one of those cold air intakes or hot air intakes to replace this. But there's no leak from the smoke machine in the intake charge pipe any longer. So I can't properly condemn it, and I don't want to waste $200 on an intake pipe for this truck. So I fired it up, and it's still whistling no matter how I manipulate that, but it does change it. So I'm just basically stuck. So then I remembered the old school way to diagnose a vacuum leak is to get some brake cleaner out. So as I'm hosing brake cleaner around the intake manifold, the engine starts running like crap. So that means it's sucking the brake cleaner in, and it'll actually make the engine kind of knock, like give it a nasty rattle noise. And right when I spray it near the EGR system, that's where the whistling noise is coming from. So there's this little block off plate on this truck. This truck's a complete hack job. And there's a little bit of a tear in the gasket. And guess what? This gasket is the aftermarket one, just like the timing chain cover one, and it's been compromised in less than a year. So make sure you guys are using Toyota gaskets, unless you want to have some serious headaches about a year later. So here I'm getting my Worth Fix-All epoxy out. It's quick setting epoxy, and this truck has been saved by this epoxy more than once. So as a 2-part nozzle, I linked this in the description because it's an amazing tool. What I'm going to do is epoxy the failed aftermarket gasket into place, and let's take a listen to it after I epoxy it in. So the real key of this epoxy is its quick setting. So you only got 15 minutes and you can go start the car.